Welcome back to What's Cooking, and I'm your host Patricia Kutsia. Today in the kitchen I'll be joined by the beautiful and talented Miss Cindy-Lee Zimny, who will be diving into the psychology industry, telling us the what's and who's of the psychology industry and giving some advice to our young people out there aspiring to take on this field. So stay tuned for more. But first, let's thank Food Lovers Market as well as Kitchen 82 and Coca-Cola for sponsoring this episode. And as promised, I have in the kitchen with me Cindy-Lee Zimny, who's here to share the trade and profession that she is in right now. So welcome, Cindy-Lee. I am super excited to have you here in the kitchen with me.
Hi Patricia, I'm just as excited to be here. My name is Cindy-Lee Zimny and I'm a psychological counselor from Geluk Psychology Services.
Like I said, I'm super excited to have you here. When you sent me your recipe, I got excited because this is one of my favorites. But before I give away too much, why don't you tell us what we're going to be cooking today?
Okay, so today we'll be making a traditional and a home favorite curry chicken or curry chicken, shall we say it like that. It's one of my favorite dishes. My mom makes it perfect, so I really hope I can master it too. And yes, I just wanted to choose something that's personal and something I experience a lot, so that's behind me choosing it.
So basically what you're saying is you have some big shoes to fill when it comes to
I
making
hope she's
this
not
dish.
watching.
Well, no, she has to watch, but no pressure. You should have fun here in the kitchen. But before we dive into this, can you just tell us your history with this? Why did you choose to come dive into such a dominating and interesting field?
Okay, so I think I was about grade 10, 11, and at this stage you need to start choosing your career and what you want to do in terms of profession. And I was really not struggling, but I was in between options, and I tried to reflect back on my life and see what stands out for me. And at the time I was extremely intrigued with the human mind and how complex it is, and just the rising mental illnesses in our country. And I thought, where do we have a lack? And I think that inspired me to pursue this profession. It was very daunting at first, just the thought of it, and especially just the capacity that our country has. We're not so big on mental health, especially the stigma around it. My parents were also like, are you sure?
Is this really what you want to do?
Is this really what you want to do? Are you going to make money? Are you going to be able to survive?
Yeah, the big question.
Exactly. So, I had all these thoughts, but at the end of the day, I stuck to it. I really made up my mind because, like I said, the human mind is beautiful with all its complexes. So, hence why I wanted to pursue it.
I am assuming it's safe to say that you are having the time of your life where you are right
I
now.
hope so. I believe so. Yes, no, I've been with Geluk for 2 years now, I'm in my 3rd year.
Yeah.
So far it's been a blast, learning a lot, of course. I work with one of the top psychologists in Namibia. She's my boss, my supervisor. So yes, I'm learning a lot every day, meeting a lot of people, and I think so far it's I think one of the best choices I've made so far in life. So I'm really glad.
It's amazing to see how you glow when you speak about this. It just shows that you are in the right field. So while our chicken is here on the stove, Cindy, why don't you tell me what you need help with so we can dive into this dish immediately?
Okay, so I need you to cut the onions.
Ooh, okay.
I want to do onions, and in the meantime, I will cut some green pepper for us.
Awesome. I do not enjoy cutting onions, but for you, I will try my best.
Thank you.
Do you want them in rings or should I do them in cubes?
Cubes will be perfect.
Awesome. Great. So Cindy, can you just tell us, you said this was something that came from grade 10, 11.
Yeah.
So where did you study to get your degree in psychology?
Yeah, so as soon as I matriculated, I then decided to take a gap year. The reason behind the gap year was just, I think I was tired of school and just,
Just needed a breather.
Yeah, and just to
Yeah.
experience new things. Although I knew what I wanted to study, I think I just needed some time.
Yeah, just to make sure that it's the choice you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I then applied to UNAM, University of Namibia, and that is where I got in for psychology, and then I started my first year in 2018. So it's exactly,
Wow.
2 years after I matriculated.
That's great. How was the experience, getting to know the field and the industry and like getting to know what it really means to
Yeah.
be a part of this industry?
So as a student, there were challenges. I mean, just like any student in
Yeah.
any course that you're studying, there were challenges. And especially in psychology, it's not as straightforward as
Yeah.
many believe, I think. You are only a selected amount of students. They also look at a lot of things. You also do go through a lot of screening and assessments yourself. You have various courses that you take throughout the years. So yeah, there was a lot of exposure that we had working with schools, working with individuals as well. So yeah, it was a good challenge. And like I said, I think based on my education, we got the glimpse
Yeah.
of what we were, to expect in future. So yeah, I would say it was very interesting, and I really personally, I enjoyed my course.
That sounds amazing. So what would you say to all our young Namibians out there who are considering, going into this field? Like, how could you prepare them for this journey of university, like going through all of what you just mentioned?
Yeah. I think it really comes down to your personality and you yourself, like the resilience you have and however it is that you go about things, because it's really not easy. You should have a lot of patience and also a lot of patience with yourself, not just the course itself. Yes, because there were challenging times, and I think what will drive a person and keep you committed to it is the passion and the love that you have for it. I believe in every profession there are challenges, but I think if you just make that conscious decision to say, but I'm going to stick to this, I'm going to try my best, despite, any uphill battles that may come, we're going to do this. So I think really just speak to yourself, make sure it is the course that you want to do research. Knowledge is power. Yes. So the more you know about something, I think you're better equipped to make a decision around it.
That sounds pretty amazing, but don't spill all the tea just yet. We'll be back right after this. So during the break, me and Cindy-Lee got busy here. So just to catch you all up, we have our chicken. It is semi-done, ready to be thrown in the pot. But I see you're busy mixing a few spices there. Can you tell us what's happening there in that bowl?
So over here we prepared the famous curry sauce. We have our onions and green pepper in here. So once they have a golden effect, we're going to add the chicken and some water, and then we'll finish off the sauce.
Awesome, awesome. So let's dig into this sauce. I can't wait to see how you do it. So what's in here before we add everything else?
Okay, so we have some salt and pepper, of course. We need the flavors in.
Exactly.
We also added some, what did we add? We added some sugar
as well.
We added some flour, yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, that's it. And then you mix it all together. So we'll still add some jam, we'll add some vinegar and milk. And then some lemon zest. Yes.
For those of you who don't know what lemon zest is, this is literally the peel of the lemon. You just, chop it all up very thinly.
Yes.
The English almost escaped me there. So let's just put this up a little bit to get that golden effect going.
Okay.
So before the break, we spoke a little about advice you can give our first years and people busy pursuing the same field that you are in right now. But as you mentioned, there's this stigma around mental health in Namibia. A lot of people have their own idea of what it is and this misunderstanding. So for first years, this is a new environment for them, and university kicked off like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
New faces, change, they're far away from home. Are there any specific tips that you can give these first years just to cope in this new hectic environment of them, just to keep their mental health and emotional health just healthy?
Okay, thanks for the question. Okay, I wasn't too long ago a first year, it's been a few years, but I can recall on how nervous I was, and again, how daunting it was stepping into this new territory. Especially, you're supposed to be a grown-up now and you're supposed to know what's happening. So it can be scary, and I know I personally was. So what I did firstly was just to connect with a group of friends or people that were in my class.
Yeah.
Just to feel comfortable, get to know them. I mean, if we're a team, we're all in the same position, we might as well take hands and stand together. So that helps a lot. Try to identify a crew or a group of friends that you know are just as dedicated and focused. We don't want people distracting us as well. So try to really find a group that you relate with. And set goals for yourself. Planning is key. I'm a planner, so I hope you are too, because that's what you will need to survive. Because it can get overwhelming, so you don't want to put yourself under that stress as well. So yes, planning, setting goals for yourself, being up to date with your schedule, try to speak to the right people. Am I attending my classes? These things. And research, like I said earlier, it's really important. It does take off the edge of the nervousness that one has. So yes, and like I always love to say, self-care is so important. So don't try and break away from your routine that you had, especially now if you're going to be flustered with other things. Continue taking care of yourself, eating healthy, drinking your water, exercising if you had to. I was a hockey player. I even joined the UNAM hockey club at the time because that really helped me cope. Just the pressure from leaving classes behind, going onto the field, eating some balls. So
a
find
stress reliever of some sort.
Find some stress reliever that you relate to and fuels you, and just take it from there. It's normally just the beginning that is scary, but once you're in that motion and once things get going, it really eases you, and it becomes a jolly ride.
Sounds exciting. I think they are busy reaching their golden brown state.
Perfect. So we can add the chicken, and then we'll add some water. This is
my favorite part. Time to put the chicken in. You say you played hockey.
Yes, I definitely needed some form of stress relief, and I really enjoyed playing hockey.
Is that something that you're...
vinegar.
I'll help you in a second. Is it something that you still do?
I should be doing it more. So this is also, I'm preaching to myself as well. Really, life does get busy, and you're always faced with so many obligations. So you kind of start to neglect what you used to do. It's not really good because that's how our stress piles up, and we don't have any form of escape or just some form of relaxation. So it's important. So I do try to play hockey. What I do now is try to exercise more. So I'm fixed. Today is my exercise day, actually. It's every Tuesday I exercise. So yes, I try to set these small achievable goals. It's less pressure then to commit to yourself to it. So I do. I, however, do want to get more on the hockey field. It's something that really brought me a lot of enjoyment. So Really, I'm going to keep myself accountable. I want to start playing hockey again.
Well, I'll help you keep yourself accountable with that. So I just chug in this glass of water to get the texture we want. Ah, there we go.
Perfect.
Perfect.
So
How far are we getting there?
Hey.
It looks like Carrie. That's a good sign.
Okay, thank you, Chef.
That's good.
I'm just going to mix it a little better still.
So during the break, you mentioned that you're actually a baker, more of a baker than a cook.
Yes, I love baking.
So besides this delicious dish that we're gonna be tasting soon, what do you like to bake?
Okay, my famous dish is the amarula cake.
Ooh,
I
that
really
sounds
love
delicious.
it. But I also love baking muffins, cupcakes. I've tried some like different tarts before. Love chocolate cake. Chocolate caramel is my favorite.
I think you should come back to What's Cooking because we need to taste at least one of those.
Yes, then we can complete the series, you know, like a whole course, a main meal and then the dessert.
Yes, definitely. You need to come back.
It depends how this tastes today, if I'll be allowed back.
I'm sure this will be amazing. I already can't wait. So we know that in your field, everyone deals with their own things when it comes from home, from work. How do you manage to just say, for example, you have a tough day yourself. Everyone goes through a tough day. How do you manage to just put your own personal things aside to focus on a client that's with you at the moment to try and help the next person?
Yeah. What I normally start off is always like reverting back to, this is my passion. I'm here for a reason, and at the end of the day, I need to fulfill that. So I try to see it as, because this is my calling, it will come naturally. And yeah, like you said, you know, I also do face things. I also, you know, there are days where I wake up grumpy and then I really have to get myself in check. But that also really helps, reminding me myself, why did I do this in the first place? Yeah. And just really, you know, when you step into that sanctuary at my workplace, even me just stepping into my office, that already is so calming for me personally. And I take so much in. There are days where even if I'm seated, I do feel distracted. But, you know, once the flow starts, once the client even starts talking, there's just, you know, this unity that comes and this different, like, you know, vulnerability that opens up, and that in itself helps me. I always tell my client, I don't know who gave therapy to who here, because I feel so much better as well. So, you know, there are those days, and then you do have people who just automatically lift you up. And I also always do try to practice mindfulness. So that's just really getting myself to a place where I feel grounded, I feel present. So that's whether I'm aligning my senses. What do I smell? You know, do I smell chicken? Do I smell a sauce? Or what fragrance do I get? What can I touch? You know, just to bring me back to where I must be. That's a tactic that I use, and it really also brings me back into emotion with the client that I'm with.
Is this something that you all get trained on before you actively like fall into your practice?
Yes, there are, you know, types of formal training that we get, but at the, you know, the essence of it should come down to you yourself and what works for you. You know, what might work for you, whether whether you're doing something else might not work for me again, and what I do might not work for you. So yes, as formal as the training is that we get, it's better to equip yourself with personal, you know, techniques that can really just boost you and give you that extra confidence when it comes to working with your clients.
Awesome. You say that when you step into the office, it's like your safe haven. I'm assuming that the culture there at work is vibrant.
And we have such beautiful ladies there. You know, it's just so, when you walk in, you're welcomed. You feel the atmosphere. It's energetic. It's vibrant, like we said. It's loving. It's warm. And we just want people to move away from the stigma and be like, hey, but I can come here and I feel so much better leaving.
Feeling like at home when they enter.
Exactly, and just naturally put you in that position. But I just now feel obligated to open up and just let loose because that space is created for you. So,
that sounds great. That sounds like a warm environment. But I think it's almost time to continue with this chicken. But before we do, I think it's time for just a short break. But we will be back right after this. So this is smelling absolutely delicious. I can't wait to dive in. So we put in our chicken and we added the sauce and it's getting real thick and it's smelling
it's
all
looking
curry.
great.
And we threw in the lemon zest just to give it its final touches. So right now we're at my favorite part, which is dishing up. So I can't wait to taste this. I can see you're nervous.
I really hope I did it right.
I can see you're nervous, but the way it's looking and the way it's smelling, I can't wait to just dive in. So right after this, you'll be seeing me and Cindy-Lee diving a little bit deeper into her field and tasting this delicious chicken. So as I mentioned, we're at my favorite part where we get to taste this delicious smelling curry chicken stew, right? That's a stew, okay? So I can't wait to dive into this. We really slaved ourselves in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I do think that it's only fitting that we pair this delicious dish with a nice cold Coca-Cola, because everything is better with Coke. So before we dive in, I think we can just get our glasses full so that we can just combine these two, because like I said, everything's better with a glass of Coke. So Cindy-Lee, we got to know you in the field, where you work at Geluk. We got to know your university lifestyle and everything. I just want to ask you a little bit of a personal question, if you don't mind. If we look back to Cindy-Lee of, let's say, 13 years old, would she have pictured herself in this field being this educated young lady who's just out there to help other people?
I'm not sure. If I have to think back, I was so dramatic and so extravagant, and I wanted to be like a runway model and a
Well,
famous,
you can still do that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. My chances are a little slim now. But yeah, no, actually, I'm not sure. I mean, at the 13-year-old capacity, and just, at that stage, I mean, what was mental health even? Were we even aware? So I don't think so. But I'm glad, however, that this is where I ended up.
That's how you turned out.
And I'm sure if 13-year-old me had to have like a trailer of future Cindy, I'm sure she'd be proud and happy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really glad with the direction that I went in.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait any longer. I think it's time to give this
Taste
chicken a taste, get that sauce in there.
Oh, mommy, I really hope I make you proud.
Here it goes. Now this is a curry chicken.
Yeah?
This is a curry chicken.
It's yummy though.
I love spicy food. And I just love how the sugar just balances and the jam just balances everything out.
And it does have a kick.
It does. Like here, that's why we have Coke. That's why we have the Coke.
Cheers. Thank you so much for supporting me in this, so I didn't mess it up.
I'm here all the way for you. But like I said, you'll be coming back for our dessert. We can't just have a main dish with no dessert at all.
I look forward to that.
But that is it for us today. Here with Cindy-Lee, we got to know everything there is about psychology, especially in Geluk. We got to give some advice to our young future psychologists out there. So join me again next week for What's Cooking. It's your host, Patricia Kutsia. I don't know about you, but I had a blast making the curry chicken stew with Cindy-Lee Koopman from Geluk Psychology. What an amazing episode and what an amazing time. And it's all thanks to Kitchen 82 for making this possible. I'll see you again next week on What's Cooking. Same place, same time.